Om. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavidvaram. Okay, all right. So last week we left off in talking about the gradation of joy. So we were on the book, page 225, and we finished at 236. Let me share my screen so we can just just review this a little bit before we move ahead. Then everything will make sense. Yeah. So here, what was being talked about in Taittiriya Upanishad was the gradation of joy. Who exactly feels joy and what kind of joy do they feel? The first person who feels joy, the characteristics given in the Upanishad is somebody who's young, somebody endowed with physical and mental well-being, somebody who has the whole earth's wealth. That person is happy. We can say that that person is happy. And if we were to take that person who is happy in this world, who's young, who's endowed with physical and mental well-being, who has so much wealth and resources available to them, and you times that by 100, that is just one unit of what a Manushya Gandharva feels. A Manushya Gandharva you can take as somebody who is into subtler pleasures, subtler arts and sciences and realms. They experience a deeper sense of pleasure. It's not materialistic. And if you take 100 times of this Manushya Gandharva, it's only one unit for the Deva Gandharva, heavenly artists. So artists, musicians, beings in heaven. The kind of happiness they feel is even subtler, much subtler. And you times this by 100, it's only one unit of Pitranam Chiralokanam. Those who are in higher worlds, whose worlds continue for time after time after time, for a long time. And times 100 is just one unit for Ajana, those who are born in the world of gods. They experience a really different sense of bliss. Times 100 times that is only one unit for the Karma Deva, those who reach the world of gods through special karmas, special rituals. And if you were to multiply this by 100, it's only one unit of bliss that the devas, the deities, experience. Because they experience such subtle realms of bliss. You times this by 100, that's only one unit of what Indra, the lord of the Devatas, experiences. And you times that by 100, it's only one unit of what Brahaspati, what he, whatever he experiences. He's the guru of Indra. So just imagine how blissful he would feel. And you times that by 100, that is one unit for Prajapati. Prajapati here means Virat, the Lord of all the gross worlds. And you times that by 100, that is what Brahma, Hiraṇyagarbha, the Lord of the subtle worlds, he experiences. You times this by 100, by infinity, that is what the being of realization, the one who is not stung by desires, that's what they feel. So we might think that as people get into subtler and subtler realms in life, that their desires are better, they have more pleasures, they have more wealth, they have family around them, they have people around them. And we feel like we compare ourselves to others and say, when are we also going to gain this sense of happiness that others have in other places, other times? But the happiest of the lot is Shrotriyasya Akamhatasya. The one who is the knower of the self, Shrotriya, and the one who is Akamhata, the one who is not stung by desires. That person is the happiest person. Why? Because they are complete. They are free from all desires. And last week we saw in detail what it means to be free from desires. All the rest of them, no matter how much they have, no matter how much they've gained, they will still want more. Like that, we see a millionaire who would still want more money. A billionaire would still want more money. Somebody who's world famous would still want more fame. Everybody who's higher up on the rung, no matter how much they get, they still want more. And thus their bliss is not really bliss. But the one who has realized the self and knows that they are innately complete, naturally complete, they are not stung by desires. They are the ones most at peace, most fulfilled. And they are, really speaking, above and beyond anybody. They don't even belong in the gradation chart because they're not high or low. They are above and beyond. They have transcended all of this. There's a very beautiful thing about not wanting. Whenever a desire comes to us, it makes us quite fragmented. Sometimes we don't even realize that a desire has come, has stung us. We all of a sudden see someone who has a new car, and then we want a new car. We see somebody who has had this kind of experience. We want that kind of experience. And it was not there before, but all of a sudden we got stung by desire. And because we got stung by desire, we're fragmented now. We're not whole. Now we have become parts. We have become the desirer, desiring the desired object. And not one object, but we're desiring so many, many, many different objects. And we're going all over the place. And the Bhagavad Gita, it says, either we have the infinite as the goal, or we have infinite goals. And when we have infinite goals, we're just fragmented. And not only are we fragmented, but our desires are also sometimes contradictory. We want to be so busy, but we also want to be peaceful and serene. We want to go travel all around, but we also want to be quite relaxed. It doesn't work. So our desires are fragmented. It makes us fragmented. It breaks us into many pieces, as though it breaks us into the desirer and desired object. And our desires are often contradictory. And we don't find peace or balance because we feel like we're pulled in opposite directions. But the trick is to grow out of these desires, to grow out of them. So although we do say that the person who is the happiest, is the most peaceful, is the one who has no desires, but for us to get there, it's not about giving up desires, but about growing up, growing out of them. That is true vairagya. When we keep attaching to something higher, and we naturally grow out of these lower desires. From the highest standpoint, if a desire stings us, what is the inquiry to follow? What is that desired object? Is that desired object existing apart from me, or is it existing in me? And who is the desirer? Is the desirer the ego, or is the desirer the Atman? And when we keep poking into this, keep poking into it, we will find the desired object is not different from me, and the desirer is not different from me, the Atman. Both essentially are the Atman. So why am I wanting myself? I already have what I long for. This is a deep inquiry when we are stung by desire. At the more relative level, when we are stung by desire, how to handle that? We make ourselves deserving. Make ourselves so deserving that the desire comes to us. Why should we be beggars and run after any desire? That doesn't make sense, right? That's just wasting our time and energy and making us beggars when we are kings and queens of our realm. So instead of running after desire, be deserving. Rise up. Raise yourself to such a level that the desire wants you. Let the desire desire you. Why should you and I desire the desire? So in this way, we have seen that the most blissful person, most joyful person is the one who is a knower of the self and the one who is not stung by desires. Shrotriya and akamahata. Now we're going to move forward. I'm on page 241 on the book. And I'm just going to chant this portion and then we will see the meaning of it. Okay? All right. Here we go. Sa yaschayam purushe yascha savaditye sa ekaha saya evam vita asmalokat pretya etamannamayamatmanamupasankramati etam pranamayamatmanamupasankramati etam manomayamatmanamupasankramati etam vijñānamayamatmanamupasankramati etam anandamayamatmanamupasankramati tadapyesha shloko bhavati. Okay, so we'll see the meaning on page 240 and 241. What is the knowledge that this being has, the one who is the most joyful? Saha yaha, that which, cha, and ayam purushe, that which is in this being, yaha cha, and that which is asau, in that sun, aditye, sa ekaha, that is one. So first we'll just see line by line. So that one, that self, which is in everybody, in every being, is that same self which is in the sun. Now, when we looked at our chart, the lowest level was a human being, right? Lowest level of happiness was a human being who had lots of wealth, lots of well-being. That was the lowest level. And the highest level was we call Hiraṇyagarbha, the Lord of the subtle worlds. So here the sun means that Hiraṇyagarbha, the one who is the Lord of the subtle worlds, or we can say God, and the being can be us. So what is it saying? The truth in I and the truth in God is one and the same. The core of my being and the core of God's being is one and the same. This is actually a Mahavakya. It's a Mahavakya. Now, first, let's look at it from the level of the sun. From the level of the sun. When we think we're looking at let's try first with a book. We're looking at a book. We're looking at a book, and if somebody asks us, where is this book? And we say, okay, it's in my hand. Book is in my hand. Where is my hand? Where am I holding it? I'm holding it in a space. The book is in my hand is in space. And where am I? I am here, I am sitting on the ground, and the ground is in space. So I see myself as limited, sitting in the ground in space. I see this book in my hand in a different space. It's in a different space. Now, because I am aware, right, that I am pure consciousness. So step one, I am pure consciousness. So I understand that I'm illuminating this book, right? So consciousness going through my mind, going through my senses, I'm illuminating this book. I am that consciousness shining through the mind, taking that thought, coming to this book. But what I also need to understand is I am also the substratum. I'm not just consciousness. Actually, this book is not in space, it's in me. And actually, this body is not in space, it's in me. So this book is, if I say it's in my hand and it's in space, but where is space? Really, where is space? Space is a thought. And where is the thought? The thought is in consciousness. So this book is actually in me. And this body, where is this body? It's in the ground, it's in space. But what is it? It's a notion, it's a thought. And where is that thought? It's in consciousness. Because we can't ascertain the existence of anything without consciousness. Therefore, the substratum of the book is not space. The substratum of the body is not space. It is me. So I am not only consciousness, but I'm also the substratum. I'm existence. You see? So Sat and Chit are the same. I'm not only illuminating this, that's a little easier to understand that I'm illuminating this, but I'm also the substratum of this. This actually exists in me. And because this exists in me and cannot exist without me, then this is nothing but me. 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 Everything is nothing but me. And therefore, it is Ananda or Ananta. It's indivisible. It's infinite. There's only one. There's only one. In this we have satyam, existence, jnanam, consciousness, and anantam, infinitude. Infinitude. The underlying reality then is just one. It's just one. If we see differences, we are going to see differences. But the underlying reality amidst all those differences is only one thing. In me and in the sun. Now we'll look at me and we'll look at the sun. And then we'll look at us and we'll look at God, right? So in I and the sun, again, I know I am illuminating the thought, illuminating the sun, right? Is the sun illuminating me or am I illuminating the sun? So through thought, I am illuminating the sun. Very good. So I am consciousness. But where is the sun existing? In great space. But where is that space existing? That space is in me. Where am I existing? Where is this thought existing? It's existing in me. So I am the substratum. I am the illuminator. And if we remove all the conditionings, what we call upādhis, that the sun is up in the sky, but I am here, the sun is yellow, I am human. If we remove all of these conditionings, we realize that actually I and the sun are one and the same. It's the same, or it's only one. It's only one, it's not two. So next time when we look at the sun, that which is in me and that which is in the sun is just one. It's just one. Now that which is in me and that which is in God, same thing, same thing. The consciousness in me, the existence in me, existence in God, and consciousness in God is exactly one. The common example we always see is the ocean, the wave, and the water. We think about God, God seems like an ocean, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-capable, and we seem like a wave, just very alpagnya, we know very little, not so powerful, not so capable. And so we seem small and God seems big, like a big ocean. But the essence is, it's just water. It's just water. This is the reality that we come to in Advaita Vedanta, that everything is actually one, actually one. We may see many, but everything is actually one. Saha yaha cha ayam purushe, that which is in me. Yaha asau aditye, that is the same thing in the sun, in everybody. Sa ekaha. Now, a question might come to your mind that Advaita always says that oneness, we are one, we are all one at the core, at the essence. But how do we deal with the world, right? Everybody says Advaita is like, if you see in a dream, you are the illuminator in the dream, you are the substratum in the dream, because everything is existing in you, and all things are non-different from you in the dream. So this holds true in the dream. And at Advaita, we say this is exactly what's happening in waking. The question comes to people, so what do you do in the world then? Right? How do you live with this oneness? Tell us how to live with oneness. Here's something we have to understand. The vision of life should be oneness, and we should operate from that, but the action should always be dharma. So vision is Brahma, but action is dharma. This is very beautifully seen in the life of Sri Rama. And I'll just give you a few examples. It's a very beautiful way that he lived. He had so many different types of relationships with people, but his vision was always oneness. So he had a friend, Sugriva, his friend Sugriva. And Sri Rama had knowledge, so he knew that the core of our being is the same. He had a friend, Sugriva. And how do you treat your friend? Both Sri Rama and Sugriva were exiled from their kingdoms. Both of them lost their wives. Both of them were going through pain. But the way he writes how to treat a friend is always see your friend's problems as a mountain and your problems as sand. Always see your friend's problems as mountains and your problems as sand. Sometimes we try to outdo our friends. If our friends say, I have a problem, we say, oh my gosh, I have a bigger problem. That's how he treated his friend. He didn't say we are one in dharmic level. In the Brahman level, in the vision level, he knew we are one. But in the level of dharma, he didn't say, look, we're one. He said I'm going to treat you as a friend. And what a friend does is they listen to their friends' problems and they take care of friends. Sri Rama had Ravana as his enemy. Now, he didn't tell Ravana took his wife, Sita. He didn't tell Ravana, we're one, I'm not going to fight you. No, he said, I'm going to kill you, Ravana. He said that. But where is he coming from? His vision is oneness, and he was not fighting Ravana out of hate. He fought Ravana out of dharma, that this is what has to be done, because Sri Rama knew he was a king. And as a king, or as a prince at that time, he had to do what was his dharma. But he never did it out of hate. He did it out of the understanding that we are one, but at the level of the world, we have to perform dharma. So in this way, we shouldn't take Advaita the wrong way, that we are all one, so we need not fight, we need not treat each other differently, we need not get into other things. No, we have to treat everybody as they need to be treated. A person has to treat their spouse as a spouse, a child as a child, a parent as a parent, a friend as a friend. We have to treat everybody as they need to be treated. And if somebody's crossing the line of dharma, then we have to stand up for it. But it never comes out of hatred. It always comes from a sense, first we have the vision, we are one. Now let's work things out. So it comes from such a peaceful place. We are one, now let's work things out. It's a very beautiful thing, actually. So vision is always Advaita. Action cannot be Advaita, because non-duality does not come in the realm of transaction. Non-duality is for our vision. But in our action, we have to have dharma. Okay, now going back to this verse. So he says, that which is in the core of every being and in the core of the sun, that is one. Saha yaha evam vid. The one who knows this, the one who knows this truth, and not just knows it very casually, the one who really gets this truth, who really is grounded in the fact that it is non-duality, that reality is non-duality. We are one, the one who is grounded in it. What happens? There was a question that when a wise person departs from here, does that person attain Brahman? So this is the answer to that question. Asmat lokat pretya, departing from this world, etam annamayam atmanam upasankramati. One crosses over that Atman made of food. Etam pranamayam atmanam upasankramati. One crosses over that Atman which is pranamaya. Etam manomayam atmanam upasankramati. One crosses over the manomaya, the mind, which is Atma. Etam vijnanamayam atmanam upasankramati. One crosses over the vijnanamaya, which is Atma. Etam anandamayam atmanam upasankramati. One crosses over anandamaya, which is Atma. Tat api eshaha shlokaha bhavati. And about this, there's a verse. Now, this word sankramati is a very beautiful word. In Adi Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya, in his commentary, he doesn't say that it means attains, but he says it's really realizing that this is non-different from me. So one comes to the level of Annamaya Kosha, the food sheath, and begins to realize that, again, the substratum of the entire food sheath, the body, the one that illumines the body, that's actually Atman. So one crosses over the food sheath. Earlier, it was about separating it. Earlier, it was the body is not the not self and I am the self. It was about separating it. So there's some sense of duality. And this is necessary in the first step of Vedanta, to separate that this is the self, this is the not self. The self is Atman, the not self is the body. The not self is the mind, the not self is the intellect. So that we get to the core of what Atman is. But now it's even deeper. That even this which we separated out, even this body which we separated out, it's actually Atman alone. Even this mind which we separated out, it's actually Atman. This intellect is actually Atman. So, etam annamayam atmanam upasankramati, having come to the conclusion that this body is actually not different from Atman. Because Atman is the substratum, Atman is what illumines it. One is able to transcend it. The pranamaya kosha, etam pranamayam atmanam upasankramati. Having come to the conclusion that the pranas, that the energy that governs all the physiological functions in the body, the substratum of that which illumines that, is actually Atman. It's nothing but Atman. Having transcended to this level, one comes to the mind. Etam manomayam atmanam upasankramati. That which illumines all thoughts, which is the substratum of all thoughts, without which thoughts cannot even exist, that is Atman. One crosses over and comes to this level. Etam vijñānamayam atmanam upasankramati. One comes to the intellectual level. Thoughts of conviction, of ideals, being the doer, the enjoyer, the seat of the ego. One comes to the conclusion that there is actually no doer. There's actually no enjoyer. There's actually no individuality. This person who I thought I was is actually a figment. All it is, it's a wrong notion. It's a wrong notion. This I am Shubhani. All it is, it's a wrong notion. I've taken myself to be that, but I cannot be that actually. Because it's so temporary. And if you inquire deeply into it, it falls. Having transcended that, one comes to Anandamayam. Anandamayam, where now all I'm left with is silence. It's such silence when we sit down and meditate, when we close our eyes, when we experience bliss. I've come to that silence. And that silence, the substratum of it, is Atman. I have to pierce through the silence to get to even the source of the silence. That is Atman. Having understood that each sheath is actually none other than Atman. Each sheath resides in Atman, is illumined by Atman, cannot exist without Atman, and is therefore Atman alone. Having been able to transcend all of this, one realizes the self. One realizes the self. This is a non-dual realization. So earlier, it was a separation. We were analyzing each sheath to get a clear picture of satyam-jñānam-anantam Brahma. Now we are taking everything in as though we are giving one huge big embrace and saying, actually, there is only Atman. There is only Atman. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. This being attains the self or realizes the self. And about this, he says, there is a shloka. So now we are on page 247. And I'll chant this portion. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha anandam brahmano vidvan nabhibheti kutascha neti etagam havavana tapati kimahagam sadhuna karavam kimaham papamakaravamiti iti saya evam vidvanete atmanaggas prunute ubhe kyevaisha ete atmanaggas prunute ya evam veda ityupanishat. He says here, yato vacho nivartante, yataha, from which, vachaha, all words, nivartante, all words return, aprapya, without reaching, manasasaha, along with the mind, anandam brahmana vidvan, the one who knows the bliss of Brahman, nabhibheti, is not afraid, kutaschaneti, of anything. Iti. Now, if you remember a little bit, we saw a similar verse with the Manomaya Kosha earlier. In the Manomaya Kosha, it said that from that Saguna Brahman, or that Brahman with attributes. Brahman with attributes, we can say Ishvara. From that Ishvara, from which all words returned. So there was, in the Manomaya Kosha, there were no words to describe Ishvara. And the mind also returned because the mind could not envelope totality, the totality of Ishvara, could not understand or fathom Ishvara. And the one who knew this bliss of Ishvara was not afraid, nabhibheti. And in that section, it said kadachaneti, was never afraid. Why was one never afraid? Because when we are connected to totality, we're not afraid. When we are taking shelter in God, we're not afraid. So in that, the freedom from fear was because of trust in God, surrender in God, and the freedom of fear was because we've connected to totality. We feel one with other people. And because we feel one with other people, we are connected to God, we always feel like we will be saved, we will be taken care of, we will be nurtured, we will be helped. We have that feeling of assurance, which is very, very beautiful, and what Sri Krishna also gives in the Bhagavad Gita. But here it says, from Brahman, here is different, from Brahman, all words return with the mind. And the one who knows the bliss of Brahman is not afraid, kutahaschaneti, is not afraid of anything, because there's no other thing. Here it's not about Ishvara. Here it is, in the commentary, very beautifully, it says, the knower of Brahman is not afraid of anything because there's no other thing. There's no other thing. There's only that being. There's only that being. I am appearing as all. So how can I be afraid if I am all? So the one who knows that they are the ones appearing as everything, they will never be afraid of anything. Because I am that consciousness illumining every single thing. When I take myself to be limited in space, then I feel the limitations of space. When I take myself to be limited in time, then I feel the limitations of time. When I take myself to be this limited object, then I feel the limitations of objects. I feel limitations. The minute I take myself to be limited, I feel all of these limitations. But if I just step away from it for a moment and say, who am I actually? And if I understand that I'm the one illuminating everything, I'm the substratum of everything, then what is there to fear, because there's none other than me? Huh? Kutaha chaneti, kutash chaneti. Therefore, he says, the knower of the bliss of Brahman is never afraid of anything, because there's no other thing. Are they afraid if they don't do good things or if they do bad things? What about that kind of fear? Now on page 248, it says, etagaha vava na tapati. So this being will not be disturbed, tapati, not be disturbed, not be burned by all of these kinds of thoughts. So etagam, such thoughts will not disturb, vava na tapati, will not disturb this person. What kind of thoughts? Kim aham sadhu na akaravam. Why have I not done good deeds today? Kim aham papam akaravam. Why have I committed sins today? Iti. Saha yaha evam vidvan. The one who knows in this way, ete atmanaga sprunute, who regards sprunute, who knows ete, these two things, good and bad, are atman. He eva eshaha ete atmanaga sprunute. The one who knows these two things as atman, what? Good and bad. Then this person, ya evam veda, this is the one who realizes. And this is what the Upanishad says. So some might ask, this realized person is not afraid of anything, okay, because there's no other thing. But will they be afraid of their mind? Will they be afraid of their selves, that I did not do good things today, or I did something bad today, or I should have done this, or I should have done that? Will they be afraid of that? The first thing to note is the one who has realized the self, their minds will be highly sattvic, because it takes that much subtlety and purity to realize the self. Guaranteed that no mind is perfect, but the mind of the one who has realized the self will have a great degree of sattva, a great degree of purity, a great degree of clarity, subtlety, and calmness. Having said that, there may be days where they might be tired. There may be times where they make a mistake unknowingly. There may be times when they get grumpy or grouchy, because the mind does that, right? It's going to be minimal for them. It's not going to be all the time, because they operate from sattva. But the mind is the mind. It will fluctuate. This knower of the self knows that they are free of the mind. I am free of my mind and conditions of my mind. And as I said, this is only possible when we have cleansed and purified our mind to a certain extent. Then we know that we are absolutely free of the mind. Because there's a danger in the spiritual path when a seeker examines themselves too critically. When a seeker starts to examine themselves too critically, they give too much reality to the ego. And the idea is not to give too much reality to the ego. The ego is the idea is to step aside from the ego. Some people, that's why they doubt their realization. They say that I have come to understand Brahman, but I don't feel contentment. So one great saint said, where is it that you don't feel contentment? You don't feel contentment in Brahman? Does Brahman have feelings? Brahman has no feelings. This lack of contentment is from the mind. Are you in the realm of the mind or are you the self? And then because they feel this lack of contentment, then they feel that I have to do other sadhanas. I have to do more karma yoga. I have to do more upasana. I have to do more japa, more chanting, which is fine if that's what they feel. But remember, again, that is identifying with the mind. If one really has realized the truth, then this question won't come up. That why am I not content? This is not going to come up because those feelings belong to the mind. They don't belong to Brahman. The one who's in the realm of Brahman, who knows themselves to be Brahman, is not overly analyzing how other people live, is not overly analyzing how they live. Their full attention is in the source. Just that pure awareness, pure consciousness, and everything flows the way it needs to flow. So there's no unnecessarily over-analyzing. Did I do this right? Did I do this wrong? Am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to do that? Because Brahman is not good or bad. Brahman is not dharma or adharma. Brahman is that which illumines both. Brahman is not even knowledge or ignorance. Brahman is beyond all of these realms of dualities. Brahman is beyond the doer itself. And it is the doer who's thinking this. It is that individuality, it's that ego who's thinking this. But Brahman is even beyond that. Beyond that. So the one who has come to this deep realization, that being is free when? Here and now. Here and now. So that asma lokat pretya, meaning they don't have to leave the world to get this realization. It's just about transcending all of these koshas. And the transcending of the sheets is nothing but the first step, knowing why we are not the sheets, but the second step, knowing that actually everything is I. Having transcended all of that, including the very, very ego, which as though rules our world. It acts like it rules the world, but actually doesn't do much. Having transcended that ego, having become fearless, this person abides in the self. This is the one that experiences true bliss. This is the being that experiences true bliss. Because there's no more other. There's no one to want. There's nothing to want. And when there is no one to want, or no desirer, and when there is no desired object, then life is very peaceful. Life just goes. And as I said, this knower of Brahman becomes Brahman, having the vision always as Advaita oneness, but will live a life of dharma because of so much sadhana, spiritual practices to get to this level. They're naturally used to a dharmic life, a very, very dharmic and spiritual life. Naturally, they will live in the realm of dharma, but always knowing that they are Brahma. Okay, so with this we conclude Taittiriya Upanishad. We just read the first part of this, Brahmānanda Vallī. I'll read the opening mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.